Well, here we are, about a year and a half into the virtual speaking era, and there is a trend that I wish would end. Many people are still sitting at their desks delivering speeches. I understand the temptation to do that because many people connect to the internet using their computer. And for most computers, the web camera is right there at the top of the monitor. Let me ask you something. Do you have a smartphone? Because if you do, I can practically guarantee there's an app for that. Secondly, there are tripods you can get pretty cheap nowadays to raise your phone up to eye level. Now, some tripods are floor standing and others are tabletop, but either way, you can get a tripod for your smartphone that will give you this kind of connection. And I really recommend you get that kind of connection because it is far better to deliver your speech standing than it is sitting. If you gave a speech in person, would you give it sitting down? Well, you shouldn't give a virtual speech sitting down either. The World Championship of Public Speaking is coming up. Last year, I did not see a single finalist or semi-finalist giving a seated speech. And I predict this year, you will see very much the same thing. Because do you know what happened to all the people who gave seated speeches? They got eliminated at lower levels. Elite speakers know it is better to stand and deliver. And you're about to hear 2 reasons why that's true. The first problem with sitting and speaking is it affects your posture. Unless you're one of these people who is able to sit up straight and tall every time, chances are you will lean forward, if not backward. So that's going to slump your shoulders, it's going to put pressure on your chest, which means it's not able to expand fully and you're not taking full breaths in. If you're not taking full breaths in, do you have your dynamic speaking voice? Or does your audience hear you as if you're just arm's length away having a friendly chat? How do you want your audience to hear you? See, the problem with sitting is it takes the passion out of your voice. And where your voice goes, I'm sad to say, your face will probably follow. You will look less engaged. I recently saw a guy give a seated speech where he looked and sounded so bored. Halfway through during a transition, I kid you not, he actually let out a big "Ugh," like he didn't want to be there. And trust me, that was a shared sentiment. I didn't want to be there listening to him either. Now, did that happen purely because he was sitting down? Well, not really. He's actually a poor speaker in person. But on that day, he wasn't just a poor speaker, he was an extremely poor speaker. Your posture is part of your stage presence, your delivery. How do you want to present yourself to your audience? How do you want them to see you? As a world-class speaker? Or as someone who really doesn't want to be on his 5th video call of the day? So the first reason not to sit and speak is it affects your posture. And your posture has cascading effects to your voice, your facials, and your overall stage presence. There's a second reason not to sit and speak, and that is it takes away your ability to communicate with your hands. Now you may be thinking, John, I can't see your hands right now anyways. I can only see you from the tie clip up. And that's true, but if I ever needed my hands, I could bring them into the shot to gesture accordingly. When you're sitting at a desk, there are 2 major temptations for you. The first is you might lay your hands down on the desk and just rest them there. And you know what Isaac Newton said about objects at rest, right? They tend to stay at rest. An even worse temptation is if you're sitting on an office chair with nice arms, you might stick your elbows on those armrests and then put your weight down on top of them. Now, with all that weight on your arms, do you really think you have the ability to bring your hands up to gesture as required? That's another reason not to sit and speak. It takes away your ability to communicate with your hands. That's why you need to stop giving speeches seated at your desk. It affects your posture, which in turn affects your overall stage presence in numerous ways, and it takes away your ability to gesture with your hands. All of this keeps you from delivering the best version of yourself to your audience and conveying your message. So don't sit and speak, stand and deliver. Keep it tuned here to lastrites.com for more speaking tips. That's last-writes.com. And if you follow me on social media or sign up for my email newsletter, you'll be made aware of these videos as they become available. And together we, that's you and I, We will lay boring speeches to rest by giving them the last rites.